Jam Vishnupad Padamaham Saparvajakacharya. Asto Tadasata Shishimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jam Vishnupad Padamaham Saparvajakacharya. Sri Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Pramsakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath. Shyamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. New Dwarka Dham Ki Jai. Their Divine Lordship Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish Ki Jai. Their Divine Lordship Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Shrimati Subhadra Ki Jai. Their Divine Lordship Shri Shri Gonitai Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Jamunamaya Gangamaya Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mamantra Ki Jai. All glories to all the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to all the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to all the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we made it to the 10th canto. So today we're reading from the 10th canto, chapter 1, text 1. This is very nicely. This is about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is described to be like the body of Krishna. In the first two cantos, it's like his lotus feet. And then it goes up to his calves, to the different cantos, to his waist, his chest. And 9th canto is like his neck. And then the 10th canto is considered to be his smiling face. Or some people call it, it's actually the heart of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the 11th and 12th cantos, it's like his forehead. So the Srimad Bhagavatam took 7 days to be spoken to Maharaj Parikshit. And I think the chapter 10 was being spoken to him around the 4th day. So you can see there's a lot of topics concerning about Krishna. Actually, Srila Prabhupada wanted the Srimad Bhagavatam to be published in 60 volumes. And there's 25 to 30 volumes, which is going to be the 10th canto. And even those small volumes that they had was only 30 cantos, 30 books. So that's how Prabhupada originally wanted it. He thought it would take a lot of different volumes like that. So I heard him mention that in order to understand these verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, we should actually read the Krishna book also. And the Krishna book is like stories, but they're actually, if you read closely, they're actually the verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Prabhupada gives a better understanding of these verses. So just by hearing, we can understand. And even if you don't understand, it's described that we become purified. So if you have that desire to become purified, then you will become purified. Krishna helps you. Just like all the good tendencies you have, if you think about them, just by having a good thought, in Kali Yuga, you'll get the result. So what are we doing? We're speaking very genuinely about Krishna. This is real truth. Our activities are meant to serve Krishna. And our minds are meant to be thinking about Krishna. So today we're going to do the first verse, and then I'll do like a little slideshow, which will go into the different pastimes of Krishna. They're not in any particular order, but it'll give us this idea to think of Krishna. So we'll do like a visual summary of the 10th canto. So, in order to really take advantage of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to become purified. It says that one of the greatest pitfalls to becoming purified is duplicity. And we can avoid that by avoiding the tendency to grab things, right? As we'll see, like, we're always interested in grabbing something. We want something for me, for mine, something external. And it doesn't matter how poor you are. You see beggars in the street, they have a huge cart filled with stuff they grabbed. Or they have 3 or 4 carts, some of them. So it doesn't matter. We're always, this tendency, it's a very bad pollution. So just by grabbing things, it's nothing actually belongs to us. Everything belongs to Krishna. And by just grabbing and grabbing, we actually harm ourselves. So if we continue to hear these pastimes of Krishna and study the scriptures, then it'll change our outlook on the world, and we'll see everything doesn't belong to us. Our nature will change, and then we'll become purified. All our activities, our eating, our sleeping, whatever we hear, whatever we're thinking, all these things are purified. So let's dive into the verse. Shri Rajo Vacha Katito Vamsa Vistaro Bhavata Soma Suryayo Rajnam Chobaya Vamsanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shri Rajo Vacha Katito Vamsa Vistaro Bhavata Soma Suryayo Rajnam Chobaya Vamshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shri Rajo Vacha Katito Vamsa Vaistaro Bhavata Soma Suryayo Rajnam Chobaya Vamshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam. Please chant. Chantito Brahma Chanto Bhavato Samaya Suryayo Ragnam Chobaya Vamsanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Sirajo Vacha Katito Vamsas Trisaro Bhavata Soma Suryayo Ragnam Chobaya Vamshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shiraja Vacha Charito Vachadhisado Bhavato Samasuryayo Ragnam Chobaya Rasanyam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shri Rajo Vacha Katito Vamsa Vistaro Soma Suryayo Ragnam Chobaya Vamshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam. Vaishnavis. Shirajo Vacha. Katito Vamsavistado. Bhavata Soma Suryayo. Ragnam Chobaya Vamshanam. Charitam Paramadbhutam. Anybody else? Okay, so let's do the word meanings. Shri Rajovacha. King Parikshit said, Katitaha has already been described. Vamsavistaraha, a broad description of the dynasties. Bhavata, by your lordship. Soma Suryayo, of the moon god and the sun god. Rajñam, of the kings. Cha, and. Ubaya, both. Vamshanam, of the members of the dynasties. Charitam, the character. Padama, exalted. Adbhutam, and wonderful. Translation. King Parikshit said, My dear Lord, you have elaborately described the dynasties of both the moon god and the sun god, with the exalted and wonderful character of their kings. Please repeat. King Parikshit said, My dear Lord, you have elaborately described the dynasties of both the moon god and the sun god, with the exalted and wonderful character of their kings. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. At the end of the 9th canto, 24th chapter, Sukadeva Goswami summarized the activities of Krishna. He spoke of how Krishna had personally appeared to reduce the burden of the earth, how he had manifested his pastimes as a householder, and how, soon after his birth, he had transferred himself to his Rajabhumi Lila. Parikshit Maharaj, being naturally a devotee of Krishna, wanted to hear more about Lord Krishna. Therefore, to encourage Sukadeva Goswami to continue speaking about Krishna and give further details, he thanked Sukadeva Goswami for having described the activities of Krishna in brief. Sukadeva Goswami had said, Jatogata pritir grihad vrajam editarto hatvaripun sutta satani kritorudara utpajateshu purusha kratbuhi samije atmanam atmanigamam pratayan janeshu. So the translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, known as Lila Purushottama, appeared as the son of Vasudeva, but immediately left his father's home and went to Vrindavan to expand his loving relationships with his confidential devotees. In Vrindavan, the Lord killed many demons, and afterward he returned to Dwarka, where according to Vedic principles, he married many wives who were the best of women, begot through them hundreds of sons, and performed sacrifices for his own worship to establish the principles of householder life. So we just read that verse in the last chapter, towards the end. It was a very nice verse, and Prabhupada gave an interesting purport to that. He was describing how this is Lord Krishna. He was setting an example by his own behavior and he performed many ritualistic activities to establish the principles of grihastha life, by marrying many wives and begetting many children, just to show people how to be happy and living according to the Vedic principles. So that's the center of Vedic sacrifice, is Krishna. So this is how we advance in human life, that we should follow the Vedic principles demonstrated by Krishna. But then in the next paragraph, Prabhupada describes that actually the real purpose of Krishna's appearance, however, is to manifest how we can take part in his loving affairs with him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these reciprocations of loving affairs in ecstasy, they're actually possible only in Vrindavan. So therefore, just after Krishna appeared, he just took off and went to Vrindavan. And he developed a loving relationships with his parents, with the gopis, the cowherd boys, and he also killed many demons and gave them liberation. So that was very nice. So this is Krishna. He's the Lila Purushottama, the best of all persons. So he's the best person to hear about. So continuing the purport. The Yadu dynasty belonged to the family descending from Soma, the moon god. Although the planetary systems are so arranged that the sun comes first, before the moon, Parikshit Maharaj gave more respect to the dynasty of the moon god, the Soma Vamsa, because in the Yadava dynasty, descending from the moon, Krishna has appeared. There are two different Kshatriya families of the royal order. One descended from the king of the moon planet, and the other descended from the king of the sun. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, he generally appears in a Kshatriya family, because he comes to establish religious principles and the life of righteousness. According to the Vedic system, the Kshatriya family is the protector of the human race. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Ramchandra, he appeared in the Surya Vamsa, the family descending from the sun god. And when he appeared as Lord Krishna, he did so in the Yadu dynasty, or Yadu Vamsa, whose descent was from the moon god. In the 9th canto, 24th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a long list of the kings of the Yadu Vamsa. All the kings in both the Soma Vamsa and the Surya Vamsa were great and powerful. And Maharaj Parikshit praised them very highly. Rajan Chobaya Vamsayanam Charitam Paramadbhutam. Nonetheless, he wanted to hear more about the Soma Vamsa, because that was the dynasty in which Krishna had appeared. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described in the Brahma Samhita as the abode of Chintamani. Chintamani prakata satma sukalpa vriksha laksha vetu sudabhirabi palayantam govindamadi pusham tamam bhajami. The Vrindavan Dham on this earth is a replica of that same abode. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 8:20, in the spiritual sky there is another eternal nature, transcendental to manifested and unmanifested matter. The manifested world can be seen in the form of many stars and planets, such as the sun and the moon. But beyond this is the unmanifested, which is imperceptible to those who are embodied. And beyond this unmanifested matter is the spiritual kingdom, which is described in the Bhagavad Gita as the supreme and eternal. That kingdom is never annihilated. Although material nature is subject to repeated creation and annihilation, that spiritual nature remains as it is eternally. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that spiritual nature, the spiritual world, is described in Vrindavan as Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, or Vrajadam. The elaborate description of the above-mentioned sloka from the 9th canto, Jatogata Pritir Grihad, Bhagavatam 9:24-66 will be found here in the 10th canto. So that's that same verse that Prabhupada quoted earlier in this purport, that he's saying that this sloka is all going to be expanded here in the 10th canto, which is a nice summary of Krishna's activities. So here we see we're into the first chapters of the 10th canto. The first 4 chapters are going to describe Brahma's prayers for the relief of the earth's burden from all the demoniac kshatriyas, kings. So she actually took the form of a cow, which you can see right here. It's on your right side, which is on the right side there of Lord Brahma. You can see him. See her? So they came and actually went and appealed to Lord Brahma. Actually, Brahma is our great grandfather. It goes on and on. He's so great. And he's the most experienced personality. Just like, your grandfather is more experienced than your father usually. So he's more experienced and is more respected. So all the demigods, who are also fathers and great personalities, they are very much respectful to Lord Brahma, and they want his experience. So they approach him. And they're asking for what is the remedy for this situation of all these demons coming. And it's very nice. We should take advantage of his instructions that he gives in the Brahma Samhita. Prabhupada quotes one verse. And there's another nice verse towards the end of the 5th chapter of the the Brahma Samhita, which is a very nice verse. Paramanas tat sad acharyas tadabhyasir nirantaram bodhayan atmanatmanam bhaktim api uttamam lapit. That by scriptural evidence, by theistic conduct, by practicing this constantly, we can awaken the self, and this devotion will actually be attained. So this is Brahma. He's actually given us a definition of devotion and how to attain it. So this is described in this particular verse. The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees, by the method of constant endeavor for self-realization, with the help of scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, and perseverance in practice. So this is the evidence that we're diving into, this Srimad Bhagavatam. And now especially, we're seeing the personal activities of Krishna. Supposedly by the time you reach the 9th canto, you are self-realized. And you understand who God is. And now you could go into the intimate pastimes of God and not be misunderstood and not be confused or take it as a material thing. So this is the evidence of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Vedas, the Puranas, the Bhagavad Gita. And the theistic conduct, we're seeing actually Krishna showing us by his conduct. And also his activities with his devotees. The sadhus. They're pure devotees, they're supremely pious. And they practice this devotion to God and this spontaneous love. So this practice is simply no other than just following the mode of service and the name practiced by the sadhus without offense. So that's our purpose, is to follow in the footsteps of the sadhus. And then according to this verse from the Brahma Samhita, by this perseverance in this practice, then we will actually develop this fruit. This love of Godhead will actually appear. That's the essence of our soul, actually. It'll appear there. So we see in this first chapter here, it has 69 verses. And it describes Maharaj's Parikshit's eagerness to learn about the incarnation of Krishna. And it also tells how Kamsa, he killed the 6 sons of Devaki because of his fear of being killed by her 8th child. And he was about to kill her right after her wedding. And he was driving the chariot trying to be, a nice brother, but he actually was going to kill her when he heard the omen that the 8th child will kill you, you fool. So talk about duplicity, Kamsa, and talk about wanting to grab things, the tendency. He wanted everything for himself. He wanted to protect his own body, his life. They say that the body is the most intoxicating thing. And these demons are very much intoxicated by their bodies. And they will protect it at all costs, even killing his own sister. So this is actually what he's doing, is harming himself. But as we more and more study the scriptures, it will change our outlook on life. We'll get to see what our nature and our tendency is and how we can purify that. Oops, we hit the wrong link here. I changed it. But anyway, we could do this first then. We could see a little slideshow here. And we could go into the pastimes of Krishna, which he appeared. They're not in any particular order, and there's different varieties of the same picture pretty much. And these are a lot of the original paintings that were in the first Krishna books. And Srila Prabhupada describes these as the trademarks of ISKCON. The devotees, they actually wanted to change these pictures and put some newer versions of these same pictures. And Prabhupada said, no, these are our ISKCON trademark. So maybe some of these you haven't seen. Some of them didn't quite make some of the books because they kind of expensive to put a lot of pictures in the books. But there's all pastimes describing Krishna and his different pastimes. So which pastime is that one? Nagasura, yeah. So this will remind us of the different pastimes. Here, Lord Brahma himself cannot understand Krishna. He gets bewildered. And the super wonderful activities of Krishna, liberating conditioned souls and liberating his devotees and killing demons. And here Lord Brahma is offering prayers. And he came to just show us a very simple way of life. Coward boy playing with his friends in the forest. And these are just very amazing pastimes of Krishna. They're imitating the animals, jumping like frogs and imitating the birds. And here he's killing the demon. Which demon was that? Bakasura, yeah. So they're so happy to see Krishna come home. And here's Krishna dancing on Kaliya. And I think, I'm not sure what this one is. Is it? Yeah. And here is getting the birth chart read. And Krishna liked to be dragged around by the cows in the dust of their hooves. So, who demon is this one? Huh? Yeah, yeah. And here Krishna, this is where someone may think Krishna is very immoral. Still in the clothes of the gopis. And Indra here begging for forgiveness. And the gopis churning yogurt, but making butter. Oh, what demon was that one? Palambasura? Yeah. And here's another demon. Who's that? Yeah. Kesha demon. Where is this? That's Varuna, yeah, where Krishna went to rescue his father. He's gotten eaten up. There's another demon. Can you recognize that? Yeah, that's a Kura. Some nice pictures. And the Rasa dance. Who is this seeing this vision in the water? Kura, yeah, I saw Krishna there, and he was on the chariot, and they saw him in the water. And here's Rasaline. Who's Krishna killing there? All right, but look at his frown. This is the garland. Who's that? Yeah, Rukmi getting insulted, and Garuda, Kaliya. And this demon. What was the name of that elephant? Yes. And this is Krishna and Rukmini. Yeah. Krishna's jumped off the hill. What did they call him because he did this? When Krishna and Balaram jumped off the hill? Yes. And he's fighting with who? Jambavan, yeah. And Krishna here expanded himself. Who's that demon? Yes. Hare Krishna. So there's Balaram. Don't get Balaram upset. Smash you with his club. Who is that? Was it many-armed demon there? The gopis. Here's Radharani. Uddhava comes to bring a letter. So there's 174 pictures here. We only hit like 64. And this is not even all of them. This is only the ones from the Krishna book, the older original Krishna book. There's a lot of newer paintings too. There's like maybe even about the same amount. So there's quite a few visuals how we can really become absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Like one picture is worth 1,000 words. So I'll just go back to the thing. There's so many more. Zakura. So just give you an idea of the taste you can get Krishna. So let's go back here to our presentation. And if you want to see more, I'll let it play later. So let's go to, oops, keeps going there up to this place. Let's go back. There we go. So this is where in Mathura, where actually Krishna took his birth. That's Kamsa's prison. Has anybody been there? Yeah, Vaninath, yeah. It actually exists. It happened, it's for real. Krishna's place where he appeared. You could go to his land, Vrindavan, you could see where he played with the cows, you could see where he had his rasa dance. All these things are there. So Krishna appeared. So the first 4 chapters also describe the appearance of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there's a very nice verse that's quoted. It's actually in this particular chapter. Actually, the first 13 verses is pretty much like a preliminary to the describing the pastimes of Krishna. So when you get to the 14th verse, then Sukadeva Goswami speaking. And this is what he says. It's very nice. O son of Brigu, Sonaka Rishi, after Sukadeva Goswami, the most respectable devotee, the son of Vyasadeva, heard the pious questions of Maharaj Parikshit, he thanked the king with respect. Then he began to discourse on topics concerning Krishna, which are the remedy for all suffering in the age of Kali. So there's a nice verse that's quoted in the purport. Krishna Charitam Kali Kalmasagnam. That indicates that actually Lord Krishna is certainly the greatest panacea for all miseries, especially in this age of Kali. And we know that in this age, people are short-lived. They're very much disturbed. They have no spiritual culture. They'll create a war just on a slight disagreement or a slight misunderstanding. People will fight. So this is how everybody's plight is in Kali Yuga. And then not only that, they're misled by so many bogus swamis and yogis. And they don't refer to this Krishna Katha, which actually is a remedy for all their disturbances and calamities. So Srimad Bhagavatam was presented and prepared by Srila Vyasadeva on the request of his spiritual master Narada Muni, just to give relief to the suffering people in this age of Kali. So Prabhupada writes that this Krishna consciousness movement is seriously engaged in enlightening people through the pleasing topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. All over the world, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is being accepted in all spheres of life, especially in advanced, educated circles. And this is what Prabhupada wanted all his devotees to become, the preachers of the Srimad Bhagavatam, to learn these wonderful stories and tell them to everybody. And the devotees are going to where there's people are educated. They're going to universities, different places where there's people, and giving them this knowledge, this message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in this particular verse, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that this is actually the panacea for all the miseries of this material world. And he's describing here that, he's saying here that he's such a great devotee of Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit, and Sukadeva Goswami is such also a great saintly person. And when these two combine together, then it's very powerful. And their katha is going to relieve all the suffering of humanity. And there's another nice verse in the first canto which describes that. Anarto pasamam sakshad bhakti yoga madhokshaje lokasya jananto vidvams chakre satvata samhitam. The material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is in relation to the supreme truth. That was in the first canto of the 7th chapter, text number 6. So people are generally unaware of the messages of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can give them relief from all the pangs of Kali Yuga just by distributing this message. And that's why Srila Prabhupada was so much interested in publishing and distributing books, distribute my books. And because he was very compassionate for all the conditioned souls in Kali Yuga. And he was compassionate for us too. Simply by engaging in this devotional service, we can awaken these intimate relationships that we can have with Krishna. And that's why Krishna actually appeared. He appeared to actually reestablish that relationship with him. So, if there's any comments or questions, we can go to them now. Otherwise, we'll just play this and let you guys see more of this, these different pastimes of Krishna. We've seen some of these already. So we could go ahead here. I think that's where we left off around there. So any other comments or questions? Or realizations? Stories? No. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your kind attention. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to the 10th canto.